Hello everybody. If you want to read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Short story 506, The Clever Trick, Intermediate. Margaret, an 80-year-old widow, lived alone in a small cottage in a quiet English village. Her days were simple, tending her garden, reading books, and chatting with neighbours over tea. She was kind, trusting, and always ready to help anyone who knocked on her door. But one sunny afternoon, her trusting nature was put to the test. A young man dressed in a smart suit arrived at Margaret's door. He had a bright smile and carried a shiny briefcase. "Good afternoon, madam," he said politely. "My name's Tom, and I'm from the local energy company. We're offering a free home inspections to help you save money on your bills." Margaret, delighted at the thought of saving a few pounds, invited him inside. Tom spoke quickly, using words like energy efficiency and government grants. He showed her charts and graphs from his briefcase, pointing at numbers that meant little to her. "Your house is old," he said, "and you're losing heat. For just £500 we can install special insulation. It'll save you thousands in the long run." Margaret hesitated. £500 was a lot of money, most of her savings from her pension, but Tom was charming, and his words sounded convincing. He promised the work would be done in a day and even offered a discount if she paid up front. Margaret, eager to trust, went to her desk and wrote a cheque. Tom smiled, tucked it into his briefcase, and promised to return the next morning with his team. "You've made a wise choice, Mrs. Margaret," he said, shaking her hand. She felt proud of her decision as he waved him goodbye. The next day Margaret waited. Morning turned to afternoon and afternoon to evening. Tom didn't come. She called the number on the card he'd left, but it was disconnected. A cold feeling settled in her stomach. She rang her neighbour, Susan, who came over at once. Susan listened to the story and frowned. "Margaret, I think you've been scammed," she said gently. Margaret's heart sank. Her savings gone in a moment. Susan, a retired teacher, was practical. She called the police and helped Margaret contact her bank. The bank couldn't promise to recover the money, but they froze her account to prevent further losses. The police took a statement, but they warned her that con artists like Tom were hard to catch. They moved from town to town, changing names and stories. Margaret felt foolish. She'd always prided herself on being careful, yet she'd fallen for Tom's smooth words. For days she stayed inside, too embarrassed to face her neighbours. But Susan wouldn't let her hide. "You're not the first and you won't be the last," Susan said firmly. "These people are clever. They trick everyone, not just you." Susan rallied the village. Neighbours brought cakes, flowers and kind words. They shared their own stories of being tricked by fake charities, online scams or dodgy salesmen. Slowly, Margaret began to feel less alone. The village hall even held a meeting to teach everyone how to spot scams. A police officer explained warning signs, offers that sound too good to be true, pressure to pay quickly, or requests for bank details. Margaret decided to turn her mistake into something positive. She joined the village committee and helped spread the word about staying safe. She spoke at meetings, her voice steady as she shared her story. "I lost £500, she said, "but I gained something too. Knowledge. Don't let shame stop you from speaking out." Months later, Margaret's garden bloomed brighter than ever. She still drank tea with her neighbours and read her books, but now she was wiser. She learned to ask questions, check credentials, and never rush into decisions. The con artist had taken her money, but he couldn't take her spirit. Margaret's kindness remained, now guarded by a sharper mind. Vocabulary notes. Widow, noun. Definition: a woman whose husband has died and who is not remarried. Example: Margaret, an 80-year-old widow, lived alone in a small cottage in a quiet village. Additional examples: after her husband passed away, Sarah became a widow and moved to a smaller house. The village supported the widow by bringing her food and helping with chores. Similar words. Widower, noun, a man whose wife has died and who is not remarried. Orphan, noun, a child whose parents have died. Note: widow, is specific to women, while widower is used for men. The term carries emotional weight, often implying loneliness or independence. Trusting, adjective, definition, having or showing belief in the honesty or reliability of others, inclined to trust people easily. Example, she was kind, trusting, and always ready to help anyone who knocked on her door. Additional examples, his trusting nature made him an easy target for salespeople. She was too trusting and shared her personal information with a stranger online. Similar words, gullible, adjective, easily persuaded to believe something, overly trusting. Naive, adjective, lacking experience or judgment, often leading to being easily fooled. Note, trusting can have a positive connotation, kind and open, but in the story it leads to Margaret's vulnerability. Charming, adjective, definition, pleasant or attractive, often in a way that makes people like or trust you. Example, but Tom was charming and his words sounded convincing. Additional examples, the charming waiter made the dining experience enjoyable with his friendly smile. She gave a charming speech that won over the audience. Similar words, charismatic, adjective, having a compelling charm or appeal that inspires others. Engaging, adjective, attractive and interesting, holding people's attention. Note, in the story, charming describes Tom's deceptive appeal, showing how charm can be used manipulatively. Convinced, adjective, past participle of the verb convince. Definition, completely certain about something, persuaded to believe or do something. Example, but Tom was charming and his words sounded convincing. Additional examples, she was convinced that moving to the city was the right decision for her career. He wasn't convinced by the advertisement and decided not to buy the product. Similar words, persuaded, adjective, verb, convinced by reasoning or argument. Assured, adjective, confident or certain about something. Note, the verb convince is often followed by to, e.g. he convinced her to sign, or that, e.g. he convinced her that it was safe. Scam, noun, definition, a dishonest scheme or fraud, often to trick someone into giving money or personal information. Example, Margaret, I think you've been scammed, she said gently. Additional examples, the email promised a free holiday, but it was a scam to steal bank details. He lost £1,000 to a phone scam pretending to be from his bank. Similar words, fraud, noun, a deliberate deception to gain money or benefits. Swindle, noun, a scheme to cheat someone out of money or goods. Note, scam is often used in informal contexts, while fraud is more formal and legal. The verb form is to scam, e.g. she was scammed out of £500. Hesitated, verb, past tense of hesitate. Definition, to pause or hold back in uncertainty or unwillingness before doing something. Example, Margaret hesitated, £500 was a lot of money. Most of her savings from her pension. Additional examples, she hesitated before answering the difficult questions in the interview. He hesitated to jump into the cold water, but eventually did. Similar words, wavered, verb, to be undecided or uncertain, often changing between choices. Paused, verb, to stop briefly before continuing. Note, hesitate often implies doubt or reluctance, as seen in Margaret's moment of caution before trusting Tom. Credentials, noun, plural. Definition, documents or qualifications that prove a person's identity, authority, or trustworthiness. Example, she learned to ask questions, check credentials, and never rush into decisions. Additional examples, the company asked for his credentials to verify he was a licensed electrician. She showed her credentials at the gate to enter the secure building. Similar words, Qualifications, noun. Skills or certifications that show someone is suitable for a job. Identification, noun. Documents proving who someone is, like a passport or ID card. Note: credentials is often used in professional or official contexts, as in checking someone's legitimacy. Story written by Grok 3 AI. Image created by Grok 3 AI. To read all the stories in full, please go to www.steveuk.blog. Thank you. Hello, this is Steve. If you enjoyed the story, please would you take the time to leave a meaningful comment and click on the like icon. If you want to know when the next story has been uploaded, please click on the notify bell icon to be notified. If you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel and tell your English learning friends so they can benefit too. Thank you.